Hi everyone, Macsen here. Welcome to my latest Stellaris Let's Play on the channel. This time round using patch version 1.3, the Heinlein patch, as well as its accompanying DLC, the Leviathans DLC. During the course of this Let's Play, I'm going to be trying to show off both of those in as much detail as possible. Paradox are calling the latest DLC a story DLC because it adds a lot of new events basically, but it does add a number of new features as well. We can see some of the new graphics here. Prior to this video, I actually did a patch notes video where I showed off the 5 cute races that were added within Leviathans. But I'll be showing much more about the Leviathans DLC during the course of the Let's Play. I should actually mention a bit about what was added in the DLC before we start the Let's Play. So there's been Guardians added, the Leviathans so to speak. So they're huge creatures that basically protect certain systems, and if you are able to deal with those Leviathans, then you can gain very big rewards supposedly. In terms of other rewards, there's also Enclave stations. They are traders, artisans and curators, which you can negotiate with. And there's also new music. There's 5 new tracks, as well as a War in Heaven. There's actually been a lot of changes to the Fallen Empires within the Heinlein patch. And if you have the DLC, it's actually possible, if you have 2 or more Fallen Empires within your game, for there to be a war between them. And you have to take sides if you wish, or stay out of it. And for that reason, I'll definitely be having at least 2 Fallen Empires in this Let's Play, so we can hopefully get to see it. So this is the Empire I'm going to be using during the course of the Let's Play. They're basically giant silk moths, the Macropteryx. They are the sovereign illustrious luminary kingdom, also known as Silk. And they happen to reside naturally on very mountainous alpine worlds. This is new to the recent patch as well. So this race happens to be very religious. They are Fanatic Spiritualist. This is quite different to my previous recent Let's Plays and the early game guide video that I did, where I used Materialists quite a bit. So Spiritualists, they have very psionic related bonuses, so they can have Jedi like combat troops and also special drives potentially later on in the game. There is a downside with Spiritualists though, they hate robots, so we're not going to be seeing too many of those in this Let's Play. At least I'm not going to be making them. Robots are quite useful because they do allow you to get your population up quite quickly, which is a very useful ability. But on the plus side, they do have a growth time bonus, and in fact I've really concentrated this race around growing very quickly. So you can now have actually 5 traits instead of 4, and I've actually picked up as many growth and food related traits as possible, agrarian and rapid breeders. Another area which helps in regards of food is being slaves, so I've gone for collectivists. That also gives a food consumption bonus, so I'm really doubling down as much as possible in trying to be able to get my population up as quickly as possible, so I can make the more important influence related buildings as soon as possible and turn them over to sectors. Decadent is also a slave related negative trait, which since I'm definitely going to be having slaves, I might as well pick that. And because I wanted yet more points, I've gone for non-adaptive. There's actually a number of ways that you can actually get habitability bonuses, so that's not going to be an issue at all. And the last trait I picked up is communal. Now communal actually doesn't work all that well with slaves, but I actually have with this race a trait point left over. So later on, when I can basically bioengineer this race, that's going to come in handy, and I intend to pick traits that will work very well with communal. So this race will have more than one use. It's going to not just be a case of picking up a ton of food. It's going to be pretty good on production end as well, since they're going to be slaves. But yeah, we'll see all about that a bit later on when I get those techs, those genetic Terran techs. Collectivist also adds faction suppression, which I mentioned a bit about in the pre-patch notes video. I'll mention more about later on, of course. So yeah, this race is very specialized in a certain area basically. For weapons, I've gone for red lasers. Lasers have arguably been nerfed a bit, but it's probably still my favorite weapon. And hyperspace travel is probably the best drive for combat still, but it does have downsides in other areas, and that's different to my last Let's Play, so I've gone for that. Plutocratic oligarchy is the best starting government, hands down, in my opinion, because of the mining station bonus, so that's an easy choice. But later on, if I want to change my government, we have a couple of religious ones, and also the new despotic empire, which I mentioned as well in that patch notes video I did. Right, so that pretty much covers everything, apart from these two empires here, which are also going to be opponents in this game. They are basically inspired by Starship Troopers. Robert A. Heinlein wrote that book, and this is a patch named after him, so I thought I'd include them as well. So the humans are very fascist. I actually changed one of the traits from the video I did previously, so they are now fleeting. And also, instead of weak. And the Clandathu arachnids, well, what I'm basically hoping to do in this game is actually capture one of the big brain populations with this race. I can definitely make use out of them, which hopefully I'll be able to show later on. And in fact, I'm hoping to enslave a number of races to augment our existing abilities in areas where we lack. Right, that's it for this empire though, so let's get started and pick our game settings. So these are the default game details found within Heinlein, and I won't cover a lot of the new options that were added because I did that within the pre-patch notes video I did. So I'm going to change a number of details here though. There's a few reasons why I'm going to do that, and I'll mention them as I go along. So first things first, I want to play on a medium-sized galaxy. This is the first time I'm doing it in a Let's Play. Main reason I'm doing this is because there's a lot less colonizable planets found within the game now. In Heinlein, I believe they've been reduced by about 2/3 actually, so it might not take so long to do a medium-sized galaxy. Also, the smaller galaxy sizes actually don't have many fallen empires, and we definitely want to see that War in Heaven event happen found within the Leviathans DLC, so we want at least a couple of fallen empires. In fact, I'm going to increase it to 3. The galaxy shape, the spiral forearms galaxy, is only available in medium or larger maps, so I'm going to try that out for the first time. I'm going to be playing on hard difficulty as well, which is what I normally do for these Let's Plays. Normally, because I play on hard, I wouldn't have advanced AI stats, but I'm going to make an exception here. I think I have one. I'm going to try it out for the first time. There's actually an option available now to not have advanced neighbors spawn next to you. So I think I'm going to turn that off, which I think prevents that from happening. Normally you would have clustered starts as well, so a lot of empires start next to each other. I'm also going to turn that off. I'm going to try it. I think I'll reduce the AI empires by 1 in number. Because of the travel method I have, the hyperspace, it could be an issue moving around the map on a spiral forearms galaxy, so I'll have it slightly less clustered by getting rid of 1 empire. And because there's less planets, colonizable planets, I think I may increase the habitability setting to 150%. It's going to be a lot less than it was in previous patches. Probably about half as much, I'm guessing, with that setting. So I'm going to try that out. And I think that's pretty much it. So I'll take a brief look to see if I've missed anything here. Hope I haven't. Right, yeah, those settings to do. So let's get started. Okay, so we got the generic welcome screen for our empire, the Sovereign Illustrious Luminary Kingdom. I think the text may have changed a little bit here, but I'm not going to read that. That is our starting home system. Our homeworld home system sun is compass. Home world is pupa. Let's quickly save the game before I get started though. Okay, so let's resume, and if you've watched my guide video for Stellaris before, you'll know what my primary concern will be when starting this game. It's going to be minerals. Minerals basically allow you to get everything else. And wow, it looks like we've got a really good start here. I've got a lot of systems within my starting territory, so I'm sure we're going to be able to find a lot of minerals here. There's rally points now as well. I'm going to actually turn one of those off to start. I covered this in that pre-patch notes video. That's for allowing allied fleets to group up with your fleet. I'll turn that off for now as well. I want to check out who our leader is, which is different every time. So he's warlike. This giant moth happens to be. So ship cost and army cost. And he's also industrialist. We've actually got a really good start here. Great. So yeah, that's gonna, both of those should come in handy. Pretty good things to start out with. Not necessarily the best, but yeah, pretty good. Let's do our science. Now, there's only one decision here. Colony ship every time. And in regards of engineering, what options do we have? Now, normally, powered exoskeletons would be fantastic. It's en route to robots. It's not arguably so important for us being spiritualists. Actually, this is a new feature here as well. It mentions that this leads towards robots. I think there's one of these for ships as well. I'm not sure what else. I haven't had time to actually play more than a few years of the game so far with this patch, so going to be finding out certain new things along the way as well. Might be a bit rusty in the first few videos. It's been a while since I played a lot of Stellaris. Everyone's been waiting for the 1.3 patch. It took quite a long time to come out, but looks really good from what I've seen so far. So, in terms of physics, what do I want here? We've got global energy management. Power hubs supposedly don't cost influence anymore, I've read in the patch notes. Energy storage capacity. Power plant Bavarian. I think out of those options I go for the power plant one. Okay, let's check out, well, first things first, let's get our science ship. Want to do a survey on home system, looking to find minerals basically. If you really wanted to crazily micromanage, you could come in here and look for planet types that are more likely to give you minerals or asteroids or something like that, but that's going a bit too far for me. So construct the ship can stay there and wait for the minerals. On Pupa, let's have a look here. Something which is new with home system worlds, they don't always have 16 tiles, and in fact, we've been incredibly lucky here. Wow, this start is actually really amazing. We've got 20 tiles, and yeah, wow. So we've even got alien pets on Homeworld. I've never seen that before. That's definitely new. So later on there's a building where you can get those for more happiness, I think it is. You always start with this cross here, which always has the same resources. Apart from that, what I'm hoping to find is a lot of minerals and maybe society like that one actually. Wow, this start is excellent. So I'm actually going to move population over to that mineral tile. And I think I may even stick that there to get the colony ship a bit quicker. You can see we have a negative trait of decadent, so for that reason I need slaves, and I'm actually going to enslave some of my population. Before I do that though, let's have a look at the resource amounts. So you can see I get a happiness bonus from the food, and we get decadent as well. When you enslave the populations, you actually lose the happy boost, or I will in a second. I'll probably have to run the clock a bit. Let's run it a day. Right, might have updated it. Yeah, I'm no longer getting the happiness boost there. So that is a downside of slavery, but you end up getting more out of food and production with slavery. Because we're collective, our population doesn't care about enslaving its own people or others for that matter. If I were to put a slave population on energy or science, you actually get a negative though, so it's useless for that. You should try to avoid that as much as possible. Do not want slaves on those tiles. But all my other populace on the other tiles I'm going to enslave. And let's get some production up here. In terms of our traits, we are excellent at food, so I can show that off in a bit more detail here. Consumption, I'm actually getting less. So normally we would need 7 food, and we actually need 6.6. And we also produce more than we should because we are agrarian, and we're also enslaving our population now as well. And if I wait a month, I can show you a growing population which will show even more details. We even get extra production because of enslaving that guy, an extra 20%. So that's population there, and I'm almost ready to unpause and really get going. But I want to split up my fleet first. Monsters and pirates have changed. They now aren't randomly located everywhere, which is good in some ways and perhaps bad in others. It means that my fleet is not going to run into, or ships aren't going to run into them all the time when we're starting off, but if we do run into them, we're definitely going to die with these. It's still worthwhile splitting up your fleet, I believe, early on though. Okay, actually took a minute out to do the movement for these because it takes a little while. So they've all got their routes. I'm going to hope to find as many systems as possible so I can find colonizable planets and figure out where other empires are and try and block them in. That's going to be the main priority here. Let's use my mouse button to increase the speed and get going. Right, so yeah, the main focus here is going to get minerals, getting minerals up and getting the colony ship out as quickly as possible, getting colonizing tech, which with this really good start, it's going to be easy to do actually. That's now growing, so I can show this off. So if I highlight this, you can see it's growing 1.4 food every month, and we've got Fanatic Spiritualist bonus and Rapid Breeders, so that's going to be less time for each of our populations to grow. If I stick it on that tile, there will be a pop-up actually letting me know when its growth is finished. So that's a useful tip if you put it on a tile that doesn't have a yield, so I can come back in here later on. In regards to my influence, I'm only going to be using that early game on outposts and colonies, and then later recruiting heroes, but things like planet edicts are very, very expensive and a waste in my opinion. Even something like that, which on the face of it looks really good, it's very expensive, 150 influence. You just probably won't have enough. If you've got enough after colonizing a ton and building a ton of outposts and recruiting heroes, leaders, then yeah, by all means go for stuff like that, but that's, yeah, expanding is your main focus. Right, I've got some energy, but that's not what I want. I want minerals, so I'm still waiting before I get a constructor ship into action. One screen which you'll have seen if you watched the pre-patch notes video is this. This is new, the expansion planet, so we get a ton of colonizable planets showing up here, but I've got to survey them and various other things. Currently, planet types have actually been changed, so it used to be like a wheel of 7 and now there's 9 planets split into 3 different categories. So we are cold climate. It's going to be a while before I can get dry climate or wet climate planets, colonize them, but might be able to eventually. Wow, okay. We've got a Gaia world right next to us, so that might be on my list to colonize. I can't remember having such a good start as this. I don't know if this is usual in the Heinlein patch, but yeah, this is great. Eventually we're going to bump into an empire, but we've got a random start. We're not grouped up, so who knows when that will be. There's a big risk of me getting trapped in with the hyperspace tech though by creatures or empires, since I can only travel along these lines. Empires don't automatically close borders anymore, but if they don't like me, they will close their borders. We've actually encountered something here. So, contact report enigmatic spacefarers. It did not take long for the sovereign illustrious luminary kingdom to come across intelligent alien life. The fleet's report to the Macropterix capital somewhat understates just how alien these faces appear, and only in passing mentions the failure to open comms. So where is that? In the Cyanidus system. It looks like those aliens are creatures. So the creatures now aren't randomly dispersed everywhere. They're a lot stronger than they used to be, but I believe the rewards for taking them out might be bigger. But only way to find out if that's true or not is by doing it, I guess. I'm hoping to do a bit later on. That ship has reached the end of its journey. Let's give it some more orders. I'll bring that around here. I need to be paying attention down here. Looks like we've got more society, and you know what? I think I'm going to... I'm tempted... No, I'm going to wait for minerals. We've already got a big society bonus, unexpected bonus on there, which I'm using, so yeah, I'll wait. If I were to spend all of these minerals, we're only making 12 per turn. That's not enough, and mining stations are expensive. Our government type is actually excellent for the mining station build cost. Best government going. Where is that reached? Right, that's up there as well. That's going over there. That one. I think I'll bring there. Now, what I'm hoping to find actually is primitive empires as well, which I might be able to conquer. Sadly, and I have to say I'm extremely disappointed about this fact. Paradox hasn't added on the main galaxy screen any icons to denote where a primitive empire happens to reside on a planet there, and that's something that's really needed. If you watched my early game guide video, you'll know all about that, definitely. So yeah, it's going to cause me issues trying to find them. I'm going to have to take a minute out here and there to have a look for primitives. Construction completes on Pupa, so that was the mine, I believe, and I think, yeah, I'm going to use this. I think it's worthwhile in this case, so I'm going to make a science lab there. But normally I would just make 2 mines, but that's such a big bonus, it's worthwhile getting. So colony ship is only, yeah, better start saving up minerals for a colony ship actually. It's not going to be long before I can get it. Oh, and I'm not paying attention enough. In the homeworld system, I've actually found some minerals. Wow, there's 4 science there. I really need to pick that up soon. Sooner than I might have otherwise then. It's too good not to. Even that, yeah, minerals is still the main focus at this stage. Okay, there's creatures there. Enigmatic fortress. Wow, okay. That is a Guardian or a Leviathan. This is a special thing added in the DLC, and it looks like it's got a big aura there, which I've no idea what it is. I think I'm going to pay this a visit with my Corvette, but I'm not sure it's going to survive it. I guess we'll see. All these things are new to me. We've got some slaves rebellion, but it's not going to be an issue at all. Shouldn't be for any time soon. Right, so we came in there. Probably need to get a science ship in there at some point to try and interact with it, maybe, or a massive combat fleet. It doesn't, with those, it doesn't actually tell you the combat strength. It's just that skull logo. So that's going to be, yeah, if you go up against that fleet, you're guessing basically. I think supposedly some of the enclaves can let you know how to kill or interact with those Leviathans, though. You can trade for knowledge. Right, Stack will come over here and figure it out in a second.
System survey complete.
I'm going to have to take a minute out looking for primitives in all of these worlds in a bit. We gained a level with that scientist. Right, so early on, I just want to search all of these systems within my territory looking for minerals before figuring out where I want to colonize. More than likely, there's a lot to find here though. So the next system I'm going to do is this one here, where there is actually an alpine world, but since that's within my territory, I'm not inclined to colonize that soon.
Situation log
I'm going to colonize further afield and deny other empires from getting it, other systems. Right, something in over there. reason I'm not going to research these anytime soon is because it delays your society research, and getting your colony ships up and out is by far the priority, which that would delay. Alien vessels, so you can see the combat strength. It's going to be a while before I'm able to take on any of these. Looks like Amoeba, is it? I think that was. If I were to conquer a primitive race, I want to do it before finding an empire, because it can lower relations with empires if you start conquering primitives. Okay, it took a couple of minutes out to look for primitive civilizations through all of the systems my Corvettes had travelled through, and I have actually found one. But of course we can't see it on a galactic map because there's no icon letting you know about it. Hint hint, Paradox, please bloody add that feature. The primitive civilization happens to be here. And yet, there's no mention of any colonizable planet there. There's just no way for you to know unless you actually visited that system. They happen to be here on Virik Mog. You can see that this hasn't been surveyed, and in fact we can't even see the surface yet. But believe me, there is a civilization here. It could potentially be a pre-sentient civilization and not a primitive civilization. But regardless, it should really let you know on the galactic map that someone happens to reside there before surveying it, in my opinion. Because if you're like me, you're going to want to know, and you're going to spend a ton of time looking through all the systems looking for them anyway. Right, so that has consequences now. It means that I don't really want to continue exploring as much as I currently have on here, because I want to survey that and potentially conquer them before meeting anyone else and lowering relations, which would happen if I were to conquer them after meeting someone else. So yeah, I'm going to stop exploring for a bit. Apart from that, let's get the clock going now and hope to get towards the colony ship. I need to survey that system, but the problem is I also have a desire to find more minerals, so that's in conflict. How long is it going to take me to... just under 3 years, and I'm making 15. If I was better at maths, I'd immediately know how many minerals that's going to be in that time, but yeah, not that quick, I'm afraid. So I'm really tempted actually now to get another science ship, and in fact I think I will, because there's so much to explore around here. That does mean I'm going to have to hire a scientist as well, which I don't really want to spend my influence since I need to use that to colonize, but I think it's worthwhile in this circumstance. So yeah, well, how long is that gonna take? Let's have a look. Not too long. I better hire a scientist as soon as that gets done. Hopefully I didn't find an empire up here.
Construction complete.
Right, so they're both located there. I think I'll leave them there for the time being. There's a mining station down, good, and these two systems I had a look in then as well. No primitives there though. So no more minerals available, but energy is getting a bit iffy. I do want to probably have 2 or 3 energy maybe. I do need energy for your colony ship while you're colonizing. So hopefully I've got a good source of energy here, not just all 2 sources, and I think yeah, it is all 2 sources actually. So where is this constructor? Right, it's near to that one. Let's do that one. Let's reduce price because of our government. Right, that's coming in. Now I could bring my ships back to the capital actually, that would reduce the maintenance costs, but I think I'll leave them there because I kind of wanted to explore again in a bit. Construction complete. Science, there's new icons as well now which is great. Let's hire a new scientist. Let's see what we've got. Hopefully I've got one that's good for anomalies. Anomaly fail risk. Yeah, that's actually really good. I probably would have wanted the one that increases the chance of finding anomalies at the moment, but that'll do. So let's stick him on a new science ship. and get that science ship up to here and survey that primitive civilization that I'm expecting to find. And where's my other science ship? It's down there. So I should actually move my constructor down there in a second, because I'm going to be hoping to find minerals in that system.
Construction complete.
Right, something, science building completed on here, which means money's a bit iffy. Minerals are coming up, but it's not great. That's growing pretty fast, but I'm not concentrating on food tiles, so it's not super fast, but faster than most races still at this stage of the game. Just about any race really that's not focusing on food. There's some pre-sentient races that could long-term be potentially better at producing food than this race, but yeah, that's about it. You can't really get much better than this race. Okay, so that science ship is coming up here. Where to is it?
Construction complete.
Okay, mining station done. Let's move the constructor to there then, hoping for minerals of course. That's gonna have a pop-up when that does grow. Where is this science ship to? Got up here yet? Not quite yet. Let's speed up a tiny bit. Don't know if, yeah, frame rate's alright. Okay, so that is now in the system, but you know what? I've probably been recording for well over half an hour at this stage. So at the start of the next video, we can see what primitives these happen to be, and hopefully get through a lot more years as well. Right, hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. If you did, please help me out by giving this video a like. I'm really grateful to those of you who do that, as it helps to boost my videos in YouTube search rankings. If you want to help out by sharing the video as well, that'd be amazing also. If you have any comments or questions about this Let's Play, please let me know by asking something, mentioning something in the comment section. If you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel as well. There's plenty more content you may be interested in. Have a look on the homepage and in the playlist, and I'll be covering many more games like Stellaris in the future. There's tons of 4X content on the channel, so yeah, I'm going to be continuing to produce a lot more. That's the plan in the years to come, as long as the channel survives, and that's something you can help with as well. Basically, I have a Patreon page. Patreon is a service that helps to facilitate supporting channels like my own. You can make a donation, whether small or large, usually once a month, but you can do that one-off if you want to. So please check out my Patreon page, and if you want to become a patron of mine, that would be even better. And I'd just like to thank my existing patrons as well, who have been a massive help to me in keeping the channel going. Right, that's it. Thank you for watching again, and I'll see you next time.